Today we celebrate Saint Narcissus. He was born towards the end of the first century and was almost 80 years old when he was named the 30th Bishop of Jerusalem. In the year 195, he and Theophilus, Bishop of Caesarea in Palestine, presided together over a council of the bishops of Palestine held at Caesarea around Easter. Now listen to this. There it was decreed that the feast be kept always on a Sunday and not continually with the Jewish Passover. The bishop and historian Eusebius says the following miracle can be attributed to him. One year on Easter Eve, the deacons did not have any oil for the lamps in the church, which was necessary at the solemn divine office on that day. Narcissus ordered those who had carried the lamps to bring him some water from the neighboring wells. This being done, he pronounced a devout prayer over the water. Then he bade them pour it into the lamps, which they did. The water was immediately converted into oil, to the great surprise of all the faithful. The veneration of all good men for this holy bishop, however, could not shelter him from the malice of the wicked. 3 incorrigible sinners, fearing his severity in the observance of ecclesiastical discipline, accused him of a terrible act. The sinners swore that they were right, adding to the following their testimony. One wished that he might perish by fire, another that he might be struck with a leprosy, and the third that he might lose his sight if what they alleged was not true. Their accusations, though, were false, and soon divine retribution called upon them. The first was burnt in his house along with his whole family by an accidental fire in the night. The second was struck with a universal leprosy, and the third, terrified by these examples, confessed the conspiracy and slander, and by the abundance of tears which he continually shed for his sins, lost his sight before his death. Narcissus could not stand the shock of the bold calumny, or perhaps made it an excuse for leaving Jerusalem in order to spend some time in solitude. He spent several years undiscovered in his retreat, when he enjoyed all the happiness and advantage which a close conversation with God can bestow. The neighboring bishops appointed a new pastor for his church until Narcissus returned. Upon his return, the faithful rejoiced and convinced him to once again undertake the administration of the diocese, which he did. As he reached extreme old age, he made St. Alexander his coadjutor. St. Narcissus continued to serve his flock and even other churches by his assiduous prayers and his earnest exhortations to unity and concord, as St. Alexander testifies in his letter to the Arsenites in Egypt, where he says that Narcissus was at that time about 116 years old. God bless him, Narcissus, because he was not narcissistic, even though he was Narcissus. He was humble. And so should you be. Amen. Alleluia.